Tonight in our investigation, we've discovered Chinese restaurant owners who have gone from state to state, opening businesses, taking out cash, then closing the businesses, leaving behind hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Tonight, WHAS 11 investigative reporter Adam Walzer talks to one of their alleged victims and to the state of Kentucky, the official in charge of making them pay up.
When the owners of this Chinese buffet first moved from Kentucky to Tennessee, they were told they couldn't open. Nashville inspectors caught them using unlicensed contractors from New York to do all their renovation work. So they hired a local contractor who we'll call Reggie to help them out.
I mean, I literally put the people in business.
Reggie says he worked for months to make sure electrical work, signage, HVAC, and other systems complied with code. Zhu Chen, nicknamed Tony, his wife Jin H Liu, nicknamed Gina, and her sister Jin X Liu, who goes by Sue, are the owners.
About halfway through it, they couldn't write checks anymore. So he asked me if I'd take a credit card, and just so happened my company takes a credit card.
Eventually, the renovations were approved by the city and the restaurant opened.
So the next thing I know, the bank calls me, Bank of America, and says, Mr. we're going to have to debit your account several $1,000s, I don't know, 16, 17, 18,000, because these people have disputed the work.
It was far from the only dispute involving the owners. In Kentucky, liens totaling nearly $700,000 have been filed by landlords, suppliers, and banks against the business owners. They opened a total of 4 restaurants in Kentuckiana in recent years, all of which were shut down by the state. The Kentucky Department of Revenue says the group owes more than $88,000 in unpaid sales taxes. Since then, they have opened 3 new restaurants in Tennessee.
In my opinion, that's intentional. I mean, they've got to the point where they've made a conscious business decision to go into business and then go out of business and start another one. Now, to prove that, you know, you'd have to do a lot more in-depth research.
Matt Gillum is with the Kentucky Department of Revenue. He's in charge of collecting delinquent taxes. He believes that while most businesses fail because of a poor economy or bad luck, some owners want them to fail.
If they collect X number of dollars and get to keep the extra 6% in your example about sales tax, well, that's additional profit for them, or money in their pocket.
We've discovered a large number of Chinese restaurants in Kentucky and Tennessee have failed soon after opening or have changed names and operators multiple times. In Tony's case, state records show he uses different names on different business documents, presumably to hide his identity. That allows him and his partners to keep getting new money to open new businesses. $117,000 of your tax money came from the U.S. Small Business Administration.
While you can judgmentally make an association, there's no automated way of doing it right now. We're working on it.
When we confronted Tony in Nashville, he told us we had the wrong guy.
You're not Tony? You just told me you're Tony.
I'm Tommy.
As for admitting any association with Kentucky,
You never own any restaurant in Louisville?
No.
How about Gina? She ever work in Louisville?
No.
Is she your wife?
No.
You own a house in Louisville?
No.
this as we were showing him documents for those businesses and the property records for this $270,000 house in Jeffersontown still listed in Tony and Gina's name. They also denied owning the van with the Jefferson County tag parked in the Long's Buffet parking lot, which in fact is registered to Tony.
You never owned King Cafe Buffet?
No.
You sure? Never heard of that?
Never.
Tony also clearly didn't remember meeting me back in 2008 when we went to King Cafe Buffet on another story.
They know how to move around and work the system, and why people don't catch up to them and let it happen to them beyond me.
Now, we discovered in looking at some of these businesses that many have ties directly to New York's Chinatown. Revenue officials say they are experimenting with new software to help them better identify cases of fraud or abuse. This could assist them in pursuing criminal charges in the cases of those worst tax absconders in the system.
Well, Adam, in a matter of weeks, you tracked him down to Nashville. Why hasn't the state of Kentucky found him and traced him down there to collect the money?
Well, they kind of had found him. They sent him a notice there, but they say they send a notice and they get on the phone and call, but they can only go after them criminally if they can prove there's criminal intent, and they say right now they don't have enough to prove that it went that far.
But you were telling me $400 million, that's the tax debt. That's what people have not paid in taxes just for Kentucky.
people who owe taxes $400 million a year. That's what it costs the state. So $88,000 is a small problem, but a big picture, it's a big problem.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you very much.